Welcome back, everyone, to Soul and Self Collective. I am Scott, and this is.
Elizabeth,
And today we're going to talk about.
I want to bring up about when a person is on their first level monk shaman shrine. They are, at least I was encouraged to avoid negative and dark space. That's what this video is going to be about. And we're going to answer some previous questions from past videos
Yeah.
by our viewers. And so let's just jump right into it. So, like I was saying, when I was raising to my first level and when I officially raised, my teacher, she advised me to avoid going to visit my grandma, who had passed away about a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
And
And that was one of the hardest things to do because we used to go pretty frequently to the gravesite.
yeah,
Yeah.
I did. And nothing bad ever followed me back. Maybe my grandma did. Just because she loves to be a busybody, and so she'll like maybe she might have followed me back. I don't know, but
Yeah.
I didn't mind it. Nothing bad ever happened. But my teacher, she advised me not to go to negative and dark spaces like a graveyard, and preferably places like our workplace. Where we have a lot of people that come in and they have attachments on them, dark entities, just negative things, right?
Yeah.
And because of our work, it's unavoidable.
Yep. And we tested it again when we had to go to San Francisco for school.
We didn't test it. It's not like we were
It was
going.
unintentional, but you were sensing stuff when we were, because we stayed near Chinatown, close enough to where we could walk to it, and we wanted to go get some snacks, and that was a interesting experience.
Inside that grocery store that you're talking about, there's nothing dark in there per se, but then the guardian that they have watching over their shop, it's very strong, like a very strong bodyguard, right? And so I could feel and sense their big energy, and it made me feel some type of way, like you know. But other than that, like places like such with to those like strong type of entities or things that just have a really high energy space, it's best and advice for low level, not let me take that back, not low level shamans, but then like first level shamans, to avoid places that has high energy, that's dark and negative, to avoid places like that.
Yeah.
Why? I can't give you the expert answer, but from my knowledge, it's probably to avoid having things follow you, having to avoid trying to, or yeah, having your teacher fix you if your soul gets lost or taken. And I guess it's kind of like, my mind is like drawing blank right now, but it's essentially just to like really protect the shaman, the first level
Yeah.
shaman.
What were some things that you were feeling when you went to those places? Do you recall any direct feelings?
Uh, when we went to the Asian grocery store,
Mm-hmm.
I remember just feeling watched, and that, again, that entity felt like a bodyguard. And I mean, they are a bodyguard, they're watching over the shop in the place. And so that was just a feeling of like, um, obviously for me not to do anything mischievous.
It was
And
cool how you kept finding the shrines because none of the shrines were out in the open. They were all like,
okay, that's so true. Yeah, it was actually kind of hidden, the
yeah,
shrine
they were
inside that
always
grocery
tucked
store.
away, hidden in like a little crevice.
But I'm telling you because I feel serious, and so it was like a radar. And when I did find it, because it was like, like it obviously didn't make noise. It's just like a feeling.
Yeah,
The stronger, it felt like a magnetic pull, and almost like, I don't know, like the air was really thick.
yeah, and it literally looked like it didn't look like it was like built into the building. It looks like they literally carved out a little place and they just
Yeah.
stuck it in there, and there was incense lit. It was pretty cool.
Not really. Okay. It was a very affirming situation for me because I was like, man, something feels off in the store or something feels weird. And the further deeper back we go, the stronger the feeling gets. I'm like,
Yeah, because it wasn't like the back corner. It wasn't up in the front.
yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was amazing.
And do you remember the cat that they had?
Oh yeah, they had a really cute cat, and yeah, it was adorable. It was just like kind of watching. Although when Scott was paying for our little haul of stuff goodies that we got, there's this little cute white cat, and it was just kind of like roaming around, and then it went past me, but and then was is like kind of sat by the front entrance, and then just was like staring off in the distance, and then it started like hissing and just staring out to nothingness. And I was like, oh, I think it was chasing the spirit out because, like, I was trying to get its attention. It would look at me and then would quickly look back out. But
Yeah, that cat was pretty cool.
Yeah.
It did feel like it was trying to protect something because the entire rest of the time it was very playful and
Yeah.
you know.
But yeah, first level shrine, you should really just avoid places like that. High energy, dark, negative. It's best to avoid it. And, avoiding seeing my grandma, that's been really hard because not only do I have to, that was advised for me to avoid her gravesite or graveyard in general.
Yeah.
I'm supposed to avoid thinking about her too.
Which isn't
And
working for this video.
yeah, I know. But like, I mean, like really concentrate on her.
Yeah.
Try not to do that. Oh, but because I was really close with my grandma, and
You were.
um, it's been kind of hard to not think about her.
Mm-hmm.
But every time, whenever it kind of comes close to where I'm just thinking about my grandma, I can hear my hunting kind of coming in and guiding me out of that,
Yeah.
and then reminding me of my teacher's words, and I just go and distract myself.
Yeah.
And if you yourself are grieving or over a loss of a loved one's, I definitely highly recommend that you go talk to a loved one that's still alive, someone who you feel safe with, someone who you know that they would always be there for you. And if you don't have someone like that, I do hope that you trust a mental health professional and seek that mental health for yourself because you deserve it.
That open space where you can just grieve and not worry about feeling judged or
definitely don't grieve alone.
Yeah. And why is that a bad thing?
So it's just my teacher's word, but I agree with her too. A person may attract a spirit or entity, and
I've heard of that too. Yeah.
And they may just attach themselves to you because
very susceptible.
Yep, to influence.
Yeah.
Let me add that influence, and so yeah. But yeah, that is something that I just wanted to share for this video. And then I wanted to kind of also answer some questions from past videos that came up. And one of the question was, so why do shamans have to practice so much? Like, what's the point of it, right? Yeah. And
sure, I had that question too.
That's what I was wondering. And I mean, that did come up for me before I like raised. And for me, speaking on my journey, it was really beneficial for me to go and Ning. I don't do it every day, but about 4 to 5 times a week. And yes, I only wanted to do 1 time a week because I thought that was what was available in my schedule to do that. It's all or nothing thinking. But anyways,
we got you up to 5, and boy, If
4 to 5,
if
yeah.
we end up missing a day, they let you know.
Yeah, they really
An
do.
unscheduled day off is not acceptable.
Yeah, exactly. But it's really beneficial to owning those days because you get the opportunity to, again, you're trying to get used to going in the spirit world. You're trying to get used to moving about, um, understanding your guides. How do they look like? What do they feel like? What does their presence feel like? Oh my gosh, that is so important. Um, what are their names? What feelings do you get when you go into the spirit world? What feelings do you get when you encounter a certain entity? Things like that. It's really important for you to keep going to the spirit world so you develop those experiences,
Yeah.
because you're not going to develop that just by hearing it through me talking about it or another shaman or master level shaman talking about it. You have the shaman themselves who is in training, or yeah, in training,
Yeah.
they have to keep going to gain those experience and those feeling themselves. And I kind of hate that because like my teacher, she's so naughty. She'll let me fail on purpose so that I know what that feeling is like. And so
It's healthy.
no, I mean it is because like she can tell me all she want, but and I can avoid it and list heed her warning. But until like I actually go through with it myself, I'm not gonna understand what that feeling is like and what to expect.
Yeah.
And so again, it's good to go and owning so that you understand it yourself and you learn from it with you, where in your body that you feel it, where in your mind, depending on whatever abilities that you have, whether it's sight, hearing, smell.
And I think that's another important thing to bring to light is not rushing into it and expecting things to happen quickly and just allowing everything that happen naturally. Because a
Mm-hmm.
lot of people get frustrated. From what I've heard, a lot of people will get frustrated
Yeah,
that
no, I
they're
hear
not
that
seeing
too.
or they're not hearing or they're not doing something that they think they should be doing by then. But giving yourself time to just let it grow and appreciate what you are able to see or hear at that time.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with what you're saying, because like me feeling what my guide's presence is like, that didn't happen the moment I raised my shrine.
Yeah.
Like I'm maybe 3 months in and I'm just now really like understanding what their presence is like. I know when they're next to me and they've taken over and I'm winning. I know when they're annoyed with me, when I'm out of rhythm and they're like, you're doing it wrong, or when I'm like not drinking enough water and I'm huffing and puffing when I'm owning.
Yeah.
So it's like it kind of goes again why you should practice, because the more exposure you get, the more experience you get. It's just that simple. And then I also wanted to iterate that even though you practice a lot, um, I really wouldn't recommend trying to focus on trying to see or trying to hear or things like that. Just do it what feels natural to you, right? And just lean in with that. Why do you smile like
Because
that?
when you say that, all I keep thinking of is all the times you've asked questions when they ask you to look into something.
What do you mean?
When they bring you to water and you're like, what am I supposed to do with this? And they're like,
Oh,
just
you're
look. You're like, what am I looking for?
so Scott's talking about when I go in the spirit world.
Yeah.
I'm often brought to bodies of water and I'm supposed to look into it, right? But then the first few times I'm just like, well, what the heck am I supposed to do? Like, do you want me to go in it? Do you want me to drink it? What am I supposed to do? Am I supposed to play with it? I'm not playing with the water. I'm just saying that to my guides. But they essentially just want me to stare at the water, gaze at it. And I'm just like, okay. And so I gaze at it, and every time whenever I go in Winning and I gaze at the water, or not gaze at the water, when I'm approached by a body of water, I still ask the same thing, like, what do you guys want me to do? Even though 90% of the time they want me to gaze at the water.
Yeah.
So,
That
yeah.
just made me laugh when you were talking about that. I was like, all the times. Every time you came back, you were always like, you took me to water again. Told me to stare at it.
Well, that was me just kind of questioning, like, what am I supposed to do? But
Yeah.
uh, I was trying to iterate that people who are training to be shamans,
Yeah.
they should just do what's natural for them.
Yeah.
And so, um,
As
and
they say,
there's
just let it go.
sometimes that's kind of hard. But there was another question. They wanted, I don't know, they didn't specify who they're talking about, but they're just like, share more scary stories. And I was really curious about you when you're sharing about your crazy ass naughty days when you used to use the Ouija board.
Oh, okay.
What was that experience
Okay.
like? And
Um,
how old are you? Oh my God.
so that was okay. So this was an interesting one. Kind of has a dark understory to it, which is why we were using it. But so I think I was 14 or 15 at the time. The reason we were using it was because of he was either 16 or 17 years old. It was a brother of someone that we knew. And he lost his girlfriend to a drunk driving accident
Oh, that's
because
awful.
his girlfriend was at a party and she wasn't driving, but she was got in a car with someone who was driving, and
Mm-hmm.
that person ended up crashing, and they both ended up dying. So the whole reason we went to the the Ouija board is because he wanted answers and he wanted to have, I guess, closure of what happened that night.
Okay.
So we were like, why not? Let's go buy a Ouija board and see what happens. So we went out to, I believe it was Toys R Us at the time, because
Of course, why
I
not?
was laughing. I was like, are we really going to buy a Ouija board from Toys R Us? And that's where we got it. So we got the Ouija board. We came back, and I was very skeptical. I think all of us were skeptical because none of us have used it before, and it was all like a joke. So we were trying to do everything we could to see, like, to make sure that one of us wasn't using it. So the way we ended up starting was he wasn't allowed to touch the board, but he was the one asking all the questions.
Okay.
That way, he wouldn't be the one like answering it for himself. It would be us who knew absolutely nothing about that night. So he was asking questions like, um,
Wait, where were you guys again doing this?
we were in,
His home?
um, yeah, we were in his home, and it was just in like some bedroom, and it was on a lake.
Did you guys ask for the
Absolutely
spirit?
not. Oh, did we ask for the spirit of the person?
Yeah,
Oh, absolutely.
you did.
Is that who we got? I don't know, but we, yeah, we had no idea what we were doing. But we were like, okay. So we asked for her spirit to come. No idea if it was hers or not. We didn't really understand a lot of the things until later about what was happening. But we asked for her spirit to come because we wanted to ask her questions. We were asking her about like how fast she was going that night, if she was driving or if her friend was driving, if she was still alive after the car accident,
Mm.
and if she is safe now or if she was like, how is she doing on the other side. And we were getting a bunch of answers, and he started to break down because a lot of the stuff that was coming through were things that he already knew, but he wasn't touching the board. So that's when he started to break down, and we started to be like, the four people that were using it, we just all looked at each other like, shit, this thing might be real.
I
So
didn't mean to laugh. Sorry.
I know. Well, I mean, we felt the same way because we were like, damn, we feel sorry, but we were like,
Oh my god.
I will tell you, the first time we didn't even say goodbye. We were all just in shock, so we all just took our hands off of it without saying goodbye, which is like a no for the Ouija board. But then we started to question it again. We were like, okay, so we got our answers for that, but now we were like, what can we like? How can we confirm what we're actually seeing? So then we started playing games,
Oh
and
my
this is when we were
god.
like, because they had a boat and they had a boat that was on a lake, so we would choose someone, and they would have to. We had an item, and they would have to go hide this item, and then they would hide the item, and then they would come back, and then we would ask the Ouija board where they hid the item. Like, can you take us and show us where this item was? So he hid the item on the boat in the front, like ice locker. And we asked the Ouija board, like, hey, where did you hide it? And all four of the people that were using the Ouija board stayed in the room that was looking towards the front of the house. We couldn't see where he was at in the back of the house. So we didn't even know he went outside. But we were like, where did he hide his item? And it told us outside on the boat in the front.
It spelled all that out.
Yeah, because at first it said it went outside. And then we were like, where outside? And then it said boat. And then we were said, where on the boat? And it said front. And we were like, ain't no way. And then the guy who hit it was like, can't believe, like, he was in shock. And we walked straight out to it, and there was only one thing in the front, which was the lockbox, and we opened it, and it was there, and we were like, no way. So that's the first time we used the Ouija board, and like some of the stuff that we were using and trying to test to see if we would believe it or not. And there's plenty more stories where that goes, because down the line we took the Ouija board to an abandoned military base where the housing was condemned due to asbestos, but it was all abandoned. We were trying to use it there. There was also an abandoned hospital and an abandoned morgue there, and we used it in each one of those buildings as well. So we were using it quite frequently for a solid 6 months to a year there. But that I would
6 months
say,
to a year? Is that what you said? Did I hear
yeah,
correctly?
about so. So whenever you go and fix me, I'm sure you're gonna have a lot of random things you're gonna have to go and sift through.
Well, that's only if your spirit is left behind.
That's
there.
true. That's true.
From the sound of it, it doesn't sound like you're stuck behind there.
Yeah, but yeah, that was my first experience using the Ouija board, and why we were using it. It was mainly to make contact with the deceased girlfriend.
It's
Yeah.
so sad. I am just so flabbergasted by what you just shared, because like I have to go and edit this later and have to listen to this by myself later. Oh,
Yeah,
oh great.
but I was truly amazed that I found the item. Even to this day, I'm like, how did I find the item? That was pretty cool. But yeah.
Well, y'all, wish me luck. Or I have to edit this later. But
yeah, I think that's all the questions that we've gotten so far, right?
yeah.
All right. Anything else?
Nothing. That was all that I really want to talk about for this video. So
Okay.
we will see you guys in the next video, okay?
Yeah, awesome. Have a good one, guys.
Bye.